Hi, my dear students. Let us discuss Quest for a Theory of Everything by Kitty Gale Ferguson. This essay, as you know, is about Stephen Hawking, the great physicist who died in 2018. When we examine his life, we are reminded of the proverb in English, where there is a will, there is a way. We can see that the life of Stephen Hawking is full of trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations means a lot of difficulties, ordeals, a lot of failures. So his life was like that. But he was able to overcome all those things with confidence and patience. In the beginning, the author refers to the inaugural lecture by Stephen Hawking, who is referred to as a new location professor of mathematics. Location professor is a term used for mathematics professors of Cambridge University. The title of the lecture was "Is the End in Sight for Theoretical Physics?" And through this speech, Hawking surprised everyone by saying that there is an end in sight for theoretical physics. And he invited everybody for a sensational escape through time and space to find the Holy Grail of science. Holy Grail is, according to Christianity, a cup used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper. And it is very difficult, it is not easy to find. Like that, in science, Holy Grail of science is the theory which explains the universe and everything that is in it. അതായത് ക്രിസ്ത്യാനിറ്റിയിൽ ഹോളി ഗ്രെയിൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ജീസസ് ക്രൈസ്റ്റ് ലാസ്റ്റ് സപ്പറിൽ ഉപയോഗിച്ചിരുന്ന ഒരു കപ്പാണ്. അത് കണ്ടെത്തുക അത്ര എളുപ്പമല്ല. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സയൻസിൽ കണ്ടെത്താൻ എളുപ്പമല്ലാത്തൊരു സാധനമാണ് അതായത് ദ തിയറി ദാറ്റ് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻസ് ദ യൂണിവേഴ്സ്. അതായത് പ്രപഞ്ചവും അതുപോലെ പ്രപഞ്ചത്തിലുള്ള എല്ലാ സാധനങ്ങളെയും കുറിച്ച് പ്രതിപാദിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സിദ്ധാന്തം എന്നുള്ളത്, അത് കണ്ടെത്തുക അത്ര എളുപ്പമല്ല. അത് കണ്ടെത്താനുള്ളൊരു യാത്രയിലേക്കാണ് സ്റ്റീഫൻ ഹോക്കിൻസ് അവിടെയുള്ളവരെ ക്ഷണിച്ചത്. സോ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ആക്ച്വലി an adventure. It's not an easy journey. By his look, he was not so promising, or he did not arouse the confidence of the listeners for such an adventurous journey. Okay, now let us talk about his birth. His birth has got some speciality. That is, he was born exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo Galilei, the father of modern science. His parents were not so rich, but they believed in the worth of education. They believed that their children should be given good education. And they wanted him to join Westminster Public School. Unfortunately, Stephen was not well at the time of the scholarship exam to Westminster Public School. Therefore, he had to attend the local St. Albans school. Anyway, he wanted to be a scientist, but his parents did not like that. They wanted him to be a teacher or a doctor. But Stephen believed that biology was a subject without precision. Precision means accuracy, correctness, exactness. Stephen was not a bright student when he was in school. He was slow to read and his handwriting was not good. And his rank in the class was somewhere in the middle. At his 14th year, Stephen Hawking wanted to pursue mathematics or physics. But his father said that was not at all practical. According to him, it did not offer any job opportunity. At 17, he joined Oxford, but the first 1.5 years he was very bored. Afterwards, he began to enjoy Oxford. He became well accepted in Oxford University. But at the end of third year, problems began cropping up. He began failing. He wanted to do a PhD in Cambridge. But initially his result was not up to the mark. Anyway, he got a first and went to Cambridge University. His first year in Cambridge was worse than that of his first year in Oxford. His careless mathematical background created problems for him. Shortly after his 21st birthday, he had a serious disease called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It was an incurable disease at that time. Even now, it has no effective treatment. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also called ALS, is a nervous disease that weakens muscles and impacts physical function. Immediately after knowing this diagnosis, he was a little depressed. And the doctors told that he could live only 2 more years. But 2 years passed, he did not die, fortunately. At a New Year's party, he met Jane Wilde, and she was an extraordinary girl. She was attracted by the wit of Stephen Hawking. She was very optimistic. She believed in God, and she believed that good things will come at the end. In 1965, he applied for a fellowship at Caius, and the same year he got married with Jane Wilde. At this time, he had a slight speech impediment, means he was not able to speak well, and he began to be called another Einstein. And his another characteristic was his brashness. Brashness means offensive boldness. That is, in Malayalam we can say Tandedam. In 1980, he wanted some fund, so he wanted to write. For that, he wanted to write a book which will be easy for non-scientists to read and understand. In 1984, he went to Switzerland, and there he contracted pneumonia, and it was very serious, and there was only one treatment, that is tracheotomy. Tracheotomy means the removal of trachea or windpipe, and once it is removed, his life could be saved. That also is not 100% sure. It could be saved or it may be saved, but he would not be able to make any sound using his mouth. That is, through this tracheotomy, he may be able to live or he may not be able to live. In addition to that, even if he is living, he will not be able to make any sound through his mouth. Jane Wilde consented to do this tracheotomy, and it was done. The future looked very bleak, and a computer expert from California named Walt Waltzow, he developed and gave Stephen Hawking a program called Equalizer, and using which Hawking was able to select words from the screen. Through that, he was able to communicate little easily. In 1988, A Brief History of Time was published, and in 2005, an abridged version of the same book was published. Stephen Hawking had a lot of difficulties in his life, but he did not consider them as difficulties. He ignored them, and he concentrated on his duties. And this is the essence, or this is the lesson that we have to internalize through Stephen Hawking's life. In the lesson, we can see a lot of difficult terms related to physics, and don't be disheartened or don't lose your patience over such terms. If you can understand them, it's good, and if you are not able to understand all those terms, never mind. The focus of the lesson is the grit and confidence of Stephen Hawking, and how he faced or encountered or how he tackled all the problems in his life. Thank you for listening.